Hello.
We're live.
Hello.
Welcome, everybody, to the Spellbound Dungeon Crawler Final Tribal Council. After 40 days of lying, backstabbing, and alliance making, it has all come down to this. Caleb, Lily, Ryu, you are our illustrious final three. And we've already talked about some of the semantics before we've gone on live stream, but here's how tonight's going to work. Ryu, as the holder of the winner of the final individual immunity challenge, you have a responsibility to make. You will be determining the order in which you guys will be providing your opening speeches. The said opening speeches, you will always be able to speak for 5 minutes. You can concede however much time is left over. If you don't feel like you need all 5 minutes, you can do with that time however you want. You can't allocate this to like your other speech. So if you only take 2 minutes for your opening speech, you can't take those 3 minutes and say, I add that to the closing. No, you will have 5 minutes at max for opening and closing speeches. Whichever order Ryu determines for you guys to be going with your opening speeches, it will be the inverse for closing speeches. Ryu has decided that it will be Ryu, Lily, and Caleb for opening speeches, and it'll be the opposite. So Caleb, Lily, and Ryu for closing speeches. Each of the jurors that are currently in attendance, unless specified otherwise, will be going in boot order. So Kevin of the five jurors here was the earliest juror, so he will go first, followed by Edward, Aaliyah, Mikey, Bryant. If people trickle in intermittently, then we'll work around that. And each of them will have 7 minutes. During those 7 minutes, they can come on camera, they can unmute, they can interact with you and say whatever they want to say, get off their chest, ask you as many questions as they want within that 7 minute time frame. And once everything is said and done, we will have a winner. Does anyone have any questions about how we're going to go about tonight? Excellent. All right, so Ryu, you're about to go up. I am going to start a timer, and I will randomly turn on my camera, show you how much time is left on the clock. You ready, my guy?
I think I am ready.
All right, three, two, you can start right now.
Hello, jury. I just want to say thank you so much for being here tonight to listen to us. I'm gonna do it in two different phases. Obviously, the first 5 minutes and the last 5 minutes. The first 5 minutes, I'm gonna go through my game as fast as I can. The last 5 minutes, all gonna be from the soul, unscripted. To start with my game, I entered the game on a little bit of a back foot because I entered it basically knowing not a soul in the game. So I had to really start making those relationships immediately as I hit the ground running. I made a final three with Caleb and Aaliyah, and I also had a side hustle with Sergio as well. Tommy was in there causing chaos like he does. And so Marvin was my first target. I had Caleb totally behind me that through the final or through the first vote, and we voted out Marvin successfully. And then didn't have to go to any other tribals until there was a swap. This is where I swapped with me and Sergio specifically, with Lily and Mikey, and we also had Morgs. This effectively, without me knowing, put me in a minority. I was a two, and Lily, Mikey, and Morgan were a three. I did not know this until I got some information from Lily, basically saying that Morgan and Lily were shackled together. I used this information as well as an advantage that I was able to purchase to save not only my top ally at the time, but flip it onto a much stronger, a player that was much in a much stronger position. Originally, it was planned to be Mikey, but after I got all the information that Mikey was on the outs from his original tribe, I then instead shifted my target to Morgan, being an excellent player and also someone that was had their full tribe intact at that time. Took them out. This then moves on. I was able to create a bond with Lily again and was able to mend fences even throughout the turmoil that we just had. And that brought us to our second swap. In this swap, it was me, Lily, Edward, Caleb, Sergio, and Sanam. Sanam was an excellent player, and I knew for sure I had no relationship with her, and she had tons of relationships on the other side. If I got to swap with her, there was no chance that I was going to be making it to the final three. So when the opportunity arose, I took greed immediately, got that idol that I was able to hold on the entire game, and I was able to force Sanam out of the game. I convinced Caleb that it was a good idea to take out Sanam, and I was able to keep Lily and Edward tight. We were able to make the quickies, and so I was going into the merge with not only a good solid four-person alliance, but I also had Sergio. That brings us to the live tribal. At the live tribal, unfortunately, Sergio had to take the bullet there. I really wanted to work with Sergio as long as I could, but if it meant that I could keep my idol and make other people happy, and everyone thinking that Sergio was my number one, I happily let him go and gave myself the benefit to make further relationships in the game. Through those relationships, I had multiple people telling me that both Kevin and Bryant were both saying that they needed my idol out. That unfortunately made them my target as I had not a crazy connection with them. Kevin went first in a unanimous vote, and then the J vote happened. We were able to, me, Caleb, Jeremy, and Edward were able to utilize this position in order to minority split on J1 and vote him out, even through even though I was pitching for J1 to go for days in advance and Lily wasn't taking the bait, we were able to blindside Lily and Co. in order to take out a very, very powerful player who apparently both Sanam and Jay both had idols that I was able to basically take out of the game. That then brings us to our final eight. It was a great move taking out Edward. However, I was under the pretense that I think the better move actually would have been able to take out me. That didn't happen. It took out Edward instead because Edward had my back. This brings us to the final seven. Aaliyah, I had always wanted to go to the final three with you if I could. Unfortunately, when we were separated for so long, it didn't really work out in that case. And I lost trust because of the blind side. And so when Lily came and Bryant both came to me and said, "Who do you want out?" I said, "I'm sorry, I need Aaliyah out over anyone else." So Aaliyah, you were the target. Mikey, then at the final six, was my target because Lily had given me information that she had an idol. And because Bryant was safe and Bryant was my original target at the number six, I unfortunately had to save Jeremy and take out Mikey at that point, bring us to the final five. I really wanted Bryant out. Of course, he wins the final immunity challenge. And so, or the fifth immunity challenge. And so I tried to make a big swing. It wasn't effective, but it showed that I'm always trying to make big swings throughout this entire game. Final four, I won an immunity challenge, brought myself to the final three, and that is my game.
Thank you very much, Ryu. Right there on the money. Lily, are you ready? All right, your time
Yes.
is gonna start now. Start talking.
All right. Hi, jury. I know it's been a minute. I just want to open up by saying I basically told Caleb and Ryu like gloves are off for this. So I have a couple highlights that I want to go into that I think looking from the outside might seem confusing to you guys. And I'm hoping that conversations and stuff can go off of this. And we can talk about there's going to be differences between all of our speeches. I can already tell between what Ryu said and what I'm planning to. So really excited to get into that. But to start off, my favorite thing that I want to start off with is the touchy subject superlatives. Caleb was voted most likely to win, Ryu was the season villain, and I was the fairy hero. I hope by the end of travel tonight, I can show that none of these are accurate. I'm first to admit that I struggled pre-merge, but I used the information gained to propel myself forward later on. At the Morgue's vote, I learned and observed previous connections and previous game performance mattered to a lot of people. Also, I learned Ryu would lean on his advantages to gain leverage, and I was not close enough with him to collaborate on these plans. At the Sanam vote, I learned Ryu and Caleb were much closer than I had anticipated, and I could truly never trust them fully. Because of this, I uniquely did not rely on my pre-merge connections when the merge happened. I worked on connecting with those that I was just meeting, building trust with Kevin, Aaliyah, and Bryant. I know people will say I had a previous connection coming into this game with Bryant, but truth be told, when I saw his face, I was actually really excited to vote him out. But the game kind of forced us together. I kind of say it's a classic one bed trope. Everyone else had paired up with people that they trusted, leaving us with one large California king. We could have easily had an easy vote of each other, but instead we jumped in together and started to get to work. Going into the merge, I made decent enough connections to have Sergio and Morgan bequeath me 30 coins total before the merge, which enabled me to purchase not only the merge idol, but another advantage and have leftovers to be shared with my alliances, such as Ryu and Bryant, to kind of hide that I was buying these things and that I might have something else in the arsenal. But again, neither of these were pivotal to my game. I didn't have to rely on my advantages. I didn't need the ring that stole a vote. I didn't need my merge idol. I just wanted to know where they were. At Final 10, Aaliyah, Mikey, and Jay came to me that the majority was aiming at Bryant. Knowing I couldn't lose an ally I could finally be honest with, I went to Ryu, Edward, and Jay, spilling information Kevin had given to me to sway the vote in that direction. I was the neck turning the head, not working alone, but hiding in the shadows. After the alliance of Edward, Caleb, and Ryu that sold me on a Final Four voted Jay and left me out, I knew that I was at the bottom. Working with Bryant, oh no, I can't see your time. Okay, sorry. Okay, thanks. Working with Bryant, oh, I lost my place. Working with Bryant, Mikey, and Aaliyah, um, it just made sense to get Edward, unfortunately, and the fog really cleared for my endgame as soon as Edward left. In that vote, I learned that Ryu and Caleb really trusted Aaliyah. I had really downplayed that. But I also knew that they had given that move to Aaliyah and Aaliyah alone. That's when I knew I had the best shot at Final Tribal sitting next to Caleb and Ryu because our games were vastly different. And I knew it'd be harder for them to see my game for what it is versus others solely in that vote. Although I wanted Jeremy to go at final six, he continued to slide between the cracks. As Mikey left, Jeremy continued to tell us it was a bad move, so I pushed for a fast round, gambling that it would provide decent leverage getting either Jeremy or Ryu out depending on who won individual immunity. I played this game as if everyone was getting my whole truth, my whole game. And oftentimes I was honest, telling people about my advantages, idols, or alliances with other people. This game was riddled with lies and chaos, so my honesty often fell on the wayside as I hoped people thought it was a moot point. Honesty was my tool in this game. A lot of other people thought I had no options, but most times I played the game offensively. But I always needed other people for these moves to work, relying on my connections across the board to open up opportunities. I spent a lot of time in this game as a scrappy underdog that was consistently told that my moves were bad for my game. But I sit here feeling confident that the game I played is a winning game. I was included in many majority alliances, only had my name written down once, and won one individual immunity while coming in second 3 times without ever being perceived as a challenge or game threat. I was not the hero just as much as Ryu lost his villain era at the merge and Caleb lost leverage when Aaliyah left the game. I'm not a fairy or a hero, but a Viper Queen that did not always strike, but when I did, it was venomous and deadly. The end.
All right then. So, Caleb, are you ready for your opening speech? All right, we'll
Yes,
start
I
once you
am.
start talking.
Okay, hello. I sit here tonight humbly asking for you guys to vote for me to win. I do know that my story is a strong one, but also a flawed one at the same time. Um, I had the finger on what I thought was the pulse up until the Edward vote. Coming into this game, I was the first boot on the mini. I went home, I think, 20th or 24th. And so coming in here, I was extremely nervous about failing again, falling short. So I put my entire heart and soul into the pre-merge, the middle, and the end. I had strong relationships early on with Aaliyah, who was my person throughout the game, Ryu, Tommy, and I tried to have a close relationship with Sergio. Aaliyah, Tommy, and Ryu and I had a final four where I had a solo relationship with each of them to make sure that I was the most connected. When Aaliyah and I swapped, we built a connection with Jeremy and Edward, which we made an alliance called Tommy's Mommies to vote Tommy out, but it didn't come to fruition. So we didn't solidify the promises that we had made. Then we swapped again, shockingly, and I swapped with Ryu, Lily, Sergio, Sanam, and Edward. And I'm going to push back. I don't think that I was convinced to do the Sanam. I had all of the information the Sanam round. I was in a 3-person alliance with Edward and Lily, and we had discussed doing Sergio that round, but I knew that Sergio was voting Sanam. I knew Sanam had an idol because when Edward and Lily told us about it, Sanam got the idol the same way that I purchased my idol. I was able to use our strong four early on to get enough money to purchase the idol. Little did I know I was going to be spanked in the ass publicly with that idol. But the Sanam vote set me and my side up in the best position for the merge. Taking Sanam out, I knew was best for me personally. I knew that it hurt Lily. I knew that it hurt Bryant. I knew that it hurt Jeremy. I didn't know going into the merge where Mikey stood, and so I knew taking Sanam out, it was important. Also, Kevin. At the merge, it was said that it was going to be somebody who wasn't there. It was either between Aaliyah or Sergio, and unfortunately, Sergio did have to be the name. The Kevin vote, I had heard that Kevin had been pushing my name just in general, but I also knew that he was connected to the other side, and we just had Kevin was the name, unfortunately. I was confused on that round because it was interesting. We had a perceived side of Jay, Jeremy, Kevin, and Mikey. And so we thought taking a shot at Kevin would break that up. Little did we know, next round, the superlatives, I win, most likely to win. I did not see that as most likely to win. I saw that as a giant target on my back. I saw that as a giant backpack that all my friends put on me. In that round, I used my close relationship with Edward to snipe Jay, who I have huge respect for. I knew Jay the most coming into this season, and he is a strong player. I knew taking him out would set me up further in the long run. I knew that Jay and Lily were really close, and if he was still in this game, I would not have made it closer to the end. Um, Taking Jay out, though, pushed a ball down the hill that I was not prepared for. The Edward vote, the Edward blindside, when I threw my idol out, Bryant correctly used his power on me. I did not know what was going on that round. I had a gut feeling. I played my idol to just be safe, but they correctly drew it out of me. That round, I believe that I did make a mistake of I don't know what happened in the connection with Aaliyah. Aaliyah was my person in this game. If I could go back in time and do anything different, it would be to prove more loyalty to Aaliyah. After Edward and Aaliyah went, I leaned into my enemies and I made my enemies my friends. Lily and Bryant were the ones who zapped me, who had planned to do this move to make me waste my idol. And we made a Final Four alliance and we leaned in. The sped up round, I do think that it did hinder all of us. There could have been moves that were made, but it was already set in stone that Jeremy and Mikey were to go. Um, at Final Four, I put on my best acting face, and Ryu and I tried to get Lily and Bryant to split up. I almost fake cried on call to make them confused. And then at the last minute, Ryu and I tied the vote, and I am here.
Thank you guys very much. We have concluded our opening speeches. Before we get into inviting individual jurors on camera, we do have a statement from Sergio, who will very likely not be in attendance this evening. Jared, if you would like to retell Sergio's statement.
Yes. So he says, congrats to the three of you. Ryu, I'm sorry, but I think I'm going to continue being a bad ally tonight. Caleb, maybe next time, buddy. Lily, glad to know my money didn't go to waste.
That is it. I didn't even put it on the timer because what's the point in that be? But next up is 10th place, our second juror, Kevin. Oh, I got you ready?
Yeah, whenever.
Right, but starts once you start talking.
Oh, hey, what's up, guys? It's your favorite Codenames player. No, anyway, I did hear about that, especially the three of you. But anyway, just want, first of all, want to say, congrats to the three of you. You did what however many of us were in the game could not do, and you should be very proud of that regardless. This was a very interesting game, very fluid game, and it feels like the three of you played like completely different games, and I think that's always very exciting within a Final Three. I'm the first juror here, and that's not something I'm usually used to. Usually, I'm used to people asking the questions that I want to ask. But here's the thing. I come into this, and I don't really have a lot of questions. So I'm kind of just going to spitball the first thing that's on my mind. And I think for me, the first thing that's really on my mind that I really want to hear is The one commonality I do see between the three of your games, despite the fact that, like I said, I think the three of you all played like very different games. The one quality I think you all share, well, maybe not a quality, but like the trait that you all share is that I think all three of you played a game where you weren't in the greatest spot at the beginning, but you really did something to improve upon that towards the end. And I want to know what you think that specific move was to get you to where you are sitting right now. And any of you can start. Ryu,
Yeah, I
have
can.
so
Yeah,
I guess I'll just go with that.
Thanks. Yeah, no, I think that was a fantastic question. And to be honest with you, I think uh, out of the three of us, I was probably in the worst spot coming into this game. I didn't have a single connect. I guess I knew Aston for about 24 hours, but I knew absolutely no one. And so when I came into this game, I knew immediately that I had to get to work and I had to put on the pressure to a lot of these players. Initially, I created that bond with Caleb and Aaliyah, and I also created that bond with Sergio, and I was able to take out Marvin. But where I really think my game took off was after that first swap, when I swapped in to a minority with Lily, Morgan, Mikey, myself, and Sergio. I really feel I utilized my advantage there to the best of its abilities. Not only was I able to keep Sergio in the game, but I was able to take out an extremely powerful player in Morgan, and I was also able to well, I would also say that maybe it put a target on myself because I did hear a lot about Mikey talking about that move, but a lot of my gameplay this season was to come in and make my target bigger and bigger and bigger. I not only wanted to have a fun time, but I wanted to, be a known player. I wanted to be a known entity. And so I was able to create that target on myself bigger and bigger and bigger until it basically became invisible. I was not able to get taken a shot at for a lot of this game, and it was because I had that idol and I took those big shots at big players when I needed to.
Okay, Lily or Caleb?
Yeah, I can go. I think really what changed the game for me was Jay leaving. I felt like before Jay leaving, I was in between two camps of like, do I work with Aaliyah, a Mikey, is Bryant over there, or do I work with a Caleb and a Ryu? And that truly showed me that I couldn't trust them, which then enabled me to get out Edward. And it was an unfortunate hit, like the last person I wanted to do, but truly, truly, I found my path when Edward left. It made it much easier for me to try to shoot offensively. I was working harder on things that I wanted instead of trying to under the radar push what I wanted or just try to make the bonds and get through it. So that for me really changed my game on its head.
Okay, Caleb?
So I have maybe one and a half answers.
So I'll take all one and a half of them.
Right. So I'm going to piggyback off of what I've said in my opening speech. I think the Sanam vote really set the game up to better my side and my numbers going into merge. I do think that taking out an idle one is really important. I didn't know who she was connected to, and I just assumed that it was you, Jeremy, and Bryant. And those were people that I had not been on a tribe with. We met at merge. So it was like, if
Yeah.
I didn't know where Sanam was, I didn't know where you were. So
How
then
you? I can tell you
right,
that.
right. But I knew it. And so then the half is the J vote. I take full responsibility with Edward for the J vote. It was so last minute, but we had been tossing it. I don't think that we were like trying to bait Lily into doing it. Let's just say that. But we knew that Lily wasn't going to budge, and we had numbers in our camp. We used a voting block that round to get Jay out. I knew that Jay had an idol because he was acting the same way I was acting, and I could read him as the player he was. I respected his game. So taking Jay out really set me up. Taking Sanam and Jay out, both of their idols, set me up better and my people.
Okay. All right. I think the next thing I want to ask, because it's just off the top of my head, is I want to see I want to see, we want to fight at this FTC, and we're getting a fight, but I feel like we need a bit more of one. So I think the thing I want to ask each of you is, why should the person that is next to you not win the game? And either of you can start.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that Lily shouldn't win the game because there were multiple times where she made incorrect moves. I think taking out Edward was not her best move, to be honest. I think Edward was firmly in a Lily corner compared to everyone else. I think it was a much better move for Aaliyah. I think it was a much better move for Mikey, and I think it was a much better move for Bryant, and Lily just happened to be that fourth one they picked up. Caleb, I don't think Caleb should win this game because to be honest, I don't know why he's taking credit for the J1 vote. I was the one that had pushed that to Lily multiple times in the Quickies chat initially, and she did not bite. And Caleb did take advantage of it last second, but I was the one that initiated that vote 100%.
Okay, I'm gonna cut Ryu off. I think Ryu shouldn't win for that same reason. My opening statement, people continue to tell me why moves weren't good for my game, just as I explained it. And so I think that in and of itself is frustrating. And Caleb, I think that he played on the back burner from my point of view. Caleb, sorry, I only give you 15 seconds.
That's okay. I don't think that they deserve to win because one, Ryu was a bull this entire time. I don't think that he fully had a grasp on what was happening. And I think Lily also played on the back burner. We just played differently. I had a pulse from beginning to end.
All right. Well, like I said, I wanted to fight, and you guys gave me a fight. So continue doing that, and we'll see what ends up happening. But good luck to the three of you.
Thank you very much, Kevin.
Thanks,
All
Kevin.
right. We do not currently have J1. We're trying to get a hold of him. But in the meantime, let's get our eighth placer, our fourth juror on the board. Edward, my guy, my boy, is awake. Are you ready? All right, I'll start the timer once you start talking.
Okay, I got a nice and quickie one for you. I'll go in alphabetical order. Uh, so should I vote for the winner with my head or my heart, Caleb?
I think that you should vote with your head. We thought with our head this entire game.
Lily?
I agree. I think as somebody that plays with my heart, it's much easier to walk away voting with your head. That's what I would do.
Ryu?
Personally, I take a different path. When I'm a juror, I do try to stay like, with my head, but man, I say with your heart, you know? I think whatever you think you should vote for, that is going to make you feel satisfied at the end of the day, you should do it.
Okay, guys, good luck.
Thanks, Edward.
Let's go ahead and have our next juror, Aaliyah, go.
Hey y'all. Um, hey, congratulations to y'all. Are you gonna say words, Jacob?
I was gonna start the timer up. I was just gonna. So if you got actually like 5 extra seconds, good on you.
Well, okay,
Right,
okay.
right. Let the timer start.
Okay, so first of all, congratulations. You guys both played wonderful games. It was entertaining. I did like unplug for a moment and then I watched everything all in one day and I got really mad then because Jeremy provoked me in the jury talk. And it was just like this whole drama thing. And then more of a story, it was very entertaining watching Ryu and Caleb bicker in that like third to last, whatever. That was cute. So again, I don't have a lot of questions because you guys are very thorough. Like Lily, first of all, somebody's like a word stress. Like, hello? Somebody could like really write. I do have some comments. Not to Ryu though. I have nothing for him. Caleb though. I am so sorry that I have like trust issues down. And my trust issues were not with you at all. They 100% was with idols in general and Ryu. Because I had heard Ryu already talking about me and had already heard him talking about me to other people. And like, that was not something that we had discussed as allies, was throwing each other's names out like that. And that was my main reason for not wanting to work with Tommy at the beginning. So seeing it repeated in another trio, because we had a separate trio with Tommy. Like that was not my favorite thing. So yeah, which ended up tanking my game and like takes me to my next comment to Lily.
Can we
Diva.
respond or no?
Oh no. Lily, diva. I really appreciate that you like saw your place and you snatched it right out of my game. Like literally, I was gagged. Like, I'm glad you saw your way to the end because I also saw my way to the end there. Um, so I do have a question though, because like the whole game you did preach, like I'm gonna take two strong players to the end. And no offense to you, Caleb, super duper duper love you, but everybody has already kind of mentioned it thus far. Like Caleb, you did kind of play a super back burner game, and Ryu, you did kind of just like wave your dick around the whole time. So, Lily, what was your philosophy there?
Yeah, actually, my like ultimate goal was to have Bryant sitting here, and I think that the hardest thing about being in this final three is that I'm sitting next to two people that didn't want to sit next to the people that I did. And we saw it in that final four. I was willing to go to fire to protect Bryant. I wanted to sit next to Bryant because I think he played this game really well. And same for Mikey. They actually asked me yesterday if I could have had a final three, who would it have been? And it would have been Mikey and Bryant because I think they're both so different and so strong in their own ways, but I could have maybe still won in the end. It just it just didn't work out, unfortunately.
Real, real, real. No, like diva, because like I honestly was like dictating the entire season, like in my project, like as it was going on, and like each thing that was happening, and everything happened as I predicted, except that last vote. Like, I really wanted Bryant sitting in the end because I wanted to hear your answer to the question, had Bryant been sitting next to you? And either way, I think I would have liked the answer. So congrats to you. But I probably would have voted for Bryant. Let him. Just
Yeah.
kidding. I don't know because that answer kind of like changed it for me. So I don't know.
Yes.
But if you guys do have anything to say in response to any of that, I don't know how much time I have. You can just like talk freely, and if I don't want you to talk anymore, I will cut you off. I'm sorry.
Can I would like to answer. So
Absolutely.
you at this game don't need to apologize. Let's point that out. I did. You are not the first person that I told about my idol, but I also didn't tell anybody about the idol until Greed. And it was, I don't know, we weren't together, but the first call that we had when we merged, I told you about it. I understand I think that aligning with Ryu actually hindered my game in a way. I did know a lot of what was going on. I had personal connections with Edward. I had personal connections with Lily, with Bryant, with Ryu, with you as well. I had a strong personal connection with Jay because we knew each other coming in here. But I didn't have a strong connection with Mikey, but I believe that I had a pulse on this game, and if that was a back burner, it was because I was using Ryu as a giant meat shield. I knew that he was a rhino in this game, and you even came to me and said, "I do not trust him."
No, literally that I came to
Yeah.
you like exactly what Lily said in her like opening speech. I came to you exactly
Mhm.
after that Edward situation. I was like, I literally had to differentiate my game. We were playing the same game, and I
Yep.
had to do something. And it's really
And
funny
full
that Lily
respect.
said that because she did that.
Mhm.
And like, so like what I was just saying is like connections aren't it, like aren't just like doing something. Like you have to do something with that. And like I guess like that's what I was just trying to see like in all three of your games. Did that happen?
Definitely. I think my strong connections did actually help me make the snipe moves that we had to. I had my vote taken away, and so I didn't have a voice, so I
No,
did
like
have to use
kudos
my connections.
twice. Twice.
Twice. So I did have to use my connections. I didn't have a voice. I did survive, though. I did lose my two closest allies going into like the late game, and I still made the end. So I don't back burner, but like the burner's really hot.
Real. Hey, do you welcome for being a meat shield diva? I've never been that before.
Can
Hello.
I ask something, Aaliyah?
Maybe.
Was being so like apparently like swinging my dick around or whatnot, that and that's totally fine, but does that not count for something where I was so obviously like a public figure of like a target, a name that was out there constantly, and yet every time I was able to avoid it? Does that not count for anything?
Okay, so I have 45 seconds to say this. That last question that Edward just asked, am I gonna vote with my heart in my head? I'm a Pisces down, literally water signs, all five houses. I I'm gonna vote with both. And you hurt me, Diva. You hurt me bad. And if you're my like in my number one circle and you vote for me out of the game, there's literally no way I'm gonna respect your game or vote for you. Like Lily never vouched to be in my top ever. Like, and she voted me out to better herself to get to the end. You did that to get dragged. And that's very different to me. Hearts, love you. You all play a wonderful game, and I'm very happy you are here, even though I don't get to be.
Love you.
Love you.
Thanks,
Bye.
Aaliyah. Also, that jacket is so cute. Sorry, but
Girl, my 60-year-old coworker gave it to me, like literally that you
Loved it.
told the show.
iconic.
Thank you, Aaliyah, for that. We did get J1. So J1 actually right now, our ninth placer, third member of the jury. You can come on camera, my guy. Are you good to go? I bet I'll start the timer once you start talking.
Wait, can you guys hear me fine? Yeah, okay. Congratulations to the three of you for making it, first of all. Very fun game we played. Proud of you guys for making it. Gonna get right into it. Ryu, you're not getting my vote. We had a talk that day I left. You told me you see your positioning in the game, you see who the big dogs are, and you're sitting next to two of them. So you're not getting anything from me. Caleb, I don't know how to feel about you. I love you. I love you. We're good friends. I love you. I love you. But I feel some type of way after I found out that you were like leading the charge behind my vote, and some things came out about that. So I just feel some type of way about that. But I'll give you a chance to explain yourself and why you felt that was necessary, and you can tell me why you think you needed to do that to get to where you are right now.
So I saw you and I think maybe you were the person that I knew best coming into this game. Um, every single time that we were not put on the same tribe in a swap, it felt like we were getting farther and farther apart in our stories. You are a powerhouse player, and I saw you play Hypnotic. You and I were hand in hand in that game, and I saw that you had connections with other people that strong in this game. It was not with me. I also had this feeling when we were on call that I was not getting all information, and I also didn't feel comfortable enough to give you all of the information. I did feel like you were closer to other people. So in your vote, Jay, it was a respect thing, and also I saw you had your hand in the pots of every single other person on the other side. I do think that we could have gone far in this game, but you know yourself that we probably wouldn't have been able to sit here together. I took the shot at you because I thought you had an idol because I did, and I could feel it. It was all respect.
No, I can respect that answer. I mean, from my point of view, I was trying. It was a weird thing. We hadn't seen each other all game. I was trying to work with you. You can tell Lily. I was like, you can ask Lily. I was like vouching you up, like, oh, Caleb's good people. Caleb's good people.
Yeah,
And then it just felt weird once we merged. So I'm not gonna hold it against you. I was a little mad. I feel a little teed off, but
it was
it's
like
fine.
Parvati and Amanda. We were old friends, and we met on the beach again, and it was like, I see the game you can play. I know who you are, and I already had stuff set up to
Mhm.
where I had Bond, and on our first call, you named Aaliyah and Ryu as your targets, and those were my number 1 and number 2, and I could not have that happen, bestie. I love you so much, but you were my biggest threat.
Yeah, that. I mean, I'm not gonna hold it against you, but yeah. And now to Lily. Look, girl, you were my number one since the day we got on the first phone call together. I love seeing you here. I just want to give you the floor and just tell me why you deserve to win. I mean, I hope everybody can see like the type of person and the type of game that you played. And just tell me how you, because from my understanding, apparently you didn't know about me being voted out. And I'm happy about that because then I'm not mad at you. But just tell me why and how you maneuvered yourself after my vote out. Because from my understanding, me and you were like each other's closest allies at that point. But you can tell me from your perspective.
Yeah, so that is exactly it, is I feel like you were like my number one that nobody like really knew about, if that makes sense. Like you had your groups from like we were separated for so long that I was wanting to bring you far in the game. because I felt like we had different information and that kind of stuff. And so when Ryu brought it up, I mean, Ryu's right. He brought up getting you out, Jay, at the beginning of that round and was continuously shot down by other people, but specifically by me because I did not think that that was a good move. And so I guess in continuously shooting it down, I was just not a part of that vote. But that vote really did show me that within the four that I thought I had, with like you as my number one on the side, I was the fourth there. And so even if that four had gotten to final four, I would have been the fourth one out. Or had somebody else been safe at final five, I would have been the sacrificial lamb. So in them keeping me out of the vote, it relieved myself a little bit of feeling like I had this like loyalty to them and that I could kind of maneuver in a different way than I really had previously. And I think that's something also about my game that I just want to note here is everyone's talking about these big moves in their games, and all of mine have been after the merge, where a lot that have been mentioned, especially here with making connections and stuff, has been pre-merge. And I think that that's one of my strengths is I got knocked down a lot in pre-merge and I didn't let that stop me. And it really pushed me into merge to not let this final tribal be focused on things that I did pre-merge, be focused on connections I made pre-merge. Even though like I would have loved to have you like even here now. I don't know how that would have happened, but I would have loved to like gloves off with you, Jay, and like fight it out. I would have definitely lost, but I, as you can tell, like if you are that person for me, I am not going to like turn my back on you. So yeah, I guess that's kind of my spiel.
And I respect. Oh, yeah, go for it, Rhea.
Yeah, I just wanted to, because I totally understand. I understand that the jury is frustrated for sure. I would like to specify though that we did have that conversation and we did talk, but to be honest, Jay, like you were probably someone I was targeting very, very early before we even merged. You were someone I wanted to target because I knew you were such a good game player, and multiple people had already told me how well you were spearheading things. Is it true you had an idol?
Yeah, it might be true.
I mean, do I get a little bit of credit for possibly being the one to where I've also heard that you were saying my name? Do I get some credit there where you were
Well,
saying my name and
name, it was before we had any conversations with each other. After we talked, I was like telling people, "Oh, we might be cool people." If you like had to talk with me, whatever. I'm gonna give you your tins or flowers for getting me out with my idol and doing that. But I don't know. Right now, my vote is between Caleb and Lily. We'll see how it shakes out. But great game to all of you.
understandable? Thanks.
Perfect timing too. Thank you so much,
Okay.
J1. Head up. All right. Now we're back on schedule. We have our sixth placer, our sixth juror as well. We have Mikey Ruby. Our sixth placer
So
and
I
our
can't turn
sixth.
on my video. It says the host won't let me.
Oh, it's weird. Let me fix that. I asked in the doc. There you go. Wonderful, excellent, stupendous. You ready, Mikey?
Atta boy.
Yes, I'm ready.
I bet you'll start talking when I'll start the timer once you start talking.
All right. Congratulations, you three. I'm gonna be honest. So far from what I've heard from this jury, I think they've gone a little easy on you. I think they haven't really expressed how disappointed we were for this to be the final three. Like, I think we had issues with all three of you being here, and so I really want you to know that I don't feel like Jay. I don't feel like my vote is even between two people right now, because frankly, I left this game with a lot of bitterness. I don't like holding on to that. So I want you to earn my vote. That being said, I have like comments that I will allow you each to comment on. I'll start with Ryu. Something we talked about in the jury is yeah, you were dick swinging a little bit, and you've come to say that it was intentional and that you were this was what you wanted to do, but it felt like from our perspective that in doing that you weren't using that to better your game. It didn't feel like you were making strong moves that really benefited you. You just kind of were getting by and also doing that. So can you maybe open my eyes a little bit more about that? Like, what were some big dick swinging moves that you did, and how did it benefit your game?
Yes, thank you. I think that, to be honest, I think I got a little spooked when my name was so out there right going into merge. I think I was a little spooked because a lot of my big dick swinging moves were pre-merge, and you were front and center for one of them. And unfortunately, Sanam was also right in front and center for another one. And I think that Jay is very frustrated, it sounds, was also there for one of them. I do think that unfortunately getting blindsided at the 8 made me very paranoid at the 7, but what really set me up in the 7 was when Lily and Bryant came to me and were like, who should we take out next? And it was between Jeremy and it was between Aaliyah. And I said that we have to take out Aaliyah because unfortunately Aaliyah had burned my trust at this point, and also she was much closer with a Caleb and a Lily and a Bryant than a Jeremy was. I thought it was very important to have Jeremy closer to the end. I think it was a big miss by Caleb not taking that shot at Bryant at the final 5 when we could have taken Bryant out and then taken Lily out at a 4. I think that would have been a nice, big dick swinging move at the end game. And so I personally have always been someone where I will take a big shot no matter what. It didn't hit that one time, but it hit 4 times prior to that. And so I think that having my idol and unfortunately you did have to go. You made the pitch to me, but I had to take you out specifically because I had already all the info that Lily had her idol and was using it. And unfortunately, if it's between you or Jeremy, you and I just knew that you were just the better player. And so I had to take you out.
I do want to comment on this. That last part feels a little hollow to me when y'all voted him out 10 minutes later, but whatever.
I mean, I didn't.
Yeah, but still. Like, I don't know. Anyway, Lily, for you, my problem is a very selfish one. It felt like never truly, like, it felt like I was being used by you more than I was an ally. And so I'm not opposed to that, but I want to hear a little bit more specifically about how you were using me, and I also want you to elaborate on why you wanted to have me in the end. You had mentioned that in a question before.
Yeah. So I I just want to start off with saying when you left, you had said like you felt like you truly had no allies in the game, and that hit me to a core because I do feel like that probably happened to you, and knowing that I had played a part in that made me feel really bad. I actually was going to start off my speech with apologies, and I thought that was a horrible way to start off a speech, but like
I
my
agree that's a good choice that you did not do that.
yeah. But my first one was I just felt like when we had reconnected at the merge, there was just no way that our games would have fully aligned. And so I think when we got on the call right before the Aaliyah vote and you were working hard to figure out votes, do we swap? That's when I connected like, oh, I am fucking over Mikey. Like he truly sees this as like a group that can go to the end and I didn't, and like this is like truly gonna burn that bridge. And so I thought that bridge was burned and there was really no coming back from that. I have a really hard time getting on calls with people if I feel like we're just faking with each other, and so maybe that came across the wrong way of like I'm not gonna like call with you and be like at final six and be like, how are we going to figure out how to save you? Because that feels inauthentic. But I can see how you're saying it feels like I used you. But so Caleb has some time. I don't know how it would have gotten to a final three, but I think that your social game is really strong and your ability to win individual immunity when you needed it is really impressive and something that I didn't have, nor did Bryant. And so I thought that it would be kind of fun. We all have different strengths. And so I think that it would have been a strong, even final travel.
Cool, thank you. Caleb, my question for you is about the 2 rounds where you had lost your vote. It felt like that should have been a time where you would have been a little bit more proactive on like keeping yourself safe, but a lot of the jury feels like you kind of like what's the word you deflated a little bit in those rounds. So walk me through those rounds and how you survived that.
So I assumed, because I felt like I got publicly flogged by everybody when I played my idol, that when I want more time, I have so much to say. But I felt like I did not know what was happening. There was so much that wasn't told to me that I did not know where to go. The only people I felt connected to, I'm just going to keep talking until you yell at me. The only people I felt connected to were Bryant, Lily, and Ryu.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you guys. Caleb, I hope you get to finish that later if you have some time, but I appreciate all of you. I'm serious. I want you guys to fight. Earn these votes. Bye.
Thank you very much, Mikey. As we have mentioned before on stream, Jeremy will likely not be able to attend, but we do have our final drawer, our fourth placer, our final member of the jury, Bryant.
You have to give me permission.
I gave you permission.
Oh, sorry, I'm old.
Your
Hi,
time starts with something.
everybody. Live, laugh, love. I'm not gonna lie. I left you all with a few words, and some of you have heeded those words. Some of you have not, and I don't know if any of you remember them, but I'm not gonna repeat them because I don't like to be pandered to if you can't bother to listen. I want to open this by saying I pride myself on being able to see the reasoning, even if I disagree with it, in moves that people make. So while I think some of you have a better chance of getting my vote than others, all of you have a chance. And some of you have the chance to lose my vote. So I think I just want to start with um Caleb. I have a question for you. Um, I want to say I loved competing with you in a challenge. Last time I was at Final Four, I got voted out 3-1. But I realized I much prefer a blindside. And unfortunately, you both could have sold that so much better. Because we pretty much knew what was gonna happen there. So was it you forcing a tie, or was it me and Lily forcing a tie? I don't know. Who knows? But I do want to ask you, why did you not vote for me in Final Five to go?
So it was important to me that I showed loyalty to the people that had promised loyalty to me. At the Edward vote, I felt so left out of what was happening. I was zapped and I'd lost my vote for that round and the round after that. I felt betrayed by my closest ally. I felt betrayed by my supposed group of like us four. And so I genuinely gravitated towards people who were giving me actual information. I trusted my gut this game, and I felt like it was actually advantageous for you and Lily to keep me in the game. So I leaned into that. I played the I'm loyal, I have nothing left. And at the final four, I knew that Ryu would tie it for me. Again, I have used Ryu as a meat shield this entire time. I did not cut Jeremy because Jeremy and I, first call we got on, he said, if we get to final four, it's a gentleman's agreement, I'm cutting you. I could not take that chance in this final five. You and Lily were already there, and I had Ryu. If I would have cut you, it would have been Lily and Jeremy looking at me instead of just you guys. I felt like I had more of a chance to integrate myself with you guys. But you sniffed out the shit. I could tell you were not listening. I could tell you saw right through it. You said, well, the only person that Ryu said that to is Caleb. And in that moment, I knew that it wasn't going to work and I had to prepare for fire. That last round, it was an honor to go to fire with you. I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, sure. It was great. So Ryu, I have a quick question for you. Um, I very pointedly asked you something when we did that giant little group call where everyone was playing each other at Final Four. What did I ask you?
I can't remember. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. I asked you. You have received very few votes in Merge, despite having
Yes.
an idol and despite everybody being able to split the votes at any time to scare you or to get it played. Why do you think you didn't get any votes?
I think, to be honest, I think
And what did
that
I say about saying to be honest?
you're right. You're right. I do think that people thought they could beat me in the end. I think people were scared that I had an idol and were scared to upset me. And if I did use that idol correctly, it would have messed up a lot of people's plans. But I do think that based on what I've seen so far tonight, that were a little bit frustrated with me and a little upset with me. And that's understandable. And I think that some people were willing to take that not take that shot and risk being in the end with me anyways. And so I think was that a good play? I don't think that was a good play for a lot of people. I think a lot of people should have taken a shot at me if they could, and they didn't. And unfortunately, you're sitting there because I knew how great of a player you were, and I think you should have taken a shot at me earlier, and you didn't. And so I think for a few people that was a mistake.
Yeah. So thank you also. Thank you for I wish I had seen more of this earlier in the questioning. But good answer. And I do want to say, so Lily, I have you up next. And our games are very much, whether they were linked or not, people are going to associate them together. So I have a question, and then if there's time, I'll follow. But what's one thing that would surprise me about your game, if anything, and then I'll get to my second part if there's time.
Yeah, I think the first thing that would surprise you about my game is I told Ryu about my idol at Final 7.
Oh
So
shit, I did not. Okay, yep,
yeah, I did that last minute, really decided that I needed to solidify and prove to Ryu that I was on his side and that I wanted Aaliyah out, and that did that for me.
okay, wow. Well then, with this last minute, I would like to tell you to just say, like, because there was a lot of wondering about what our relationship was outside this game. Can you just tell people what it is?
I hosted Bryant a year and a half ago, and that's it. I ended up in Philly, and we have mutual friends that had met Bryant, and so they had set up a brunch, and that's it. I had just as much before this game started a connection to Tommy as I did to Bryant. So just to be clear, no one's worried about me and Tommy, but everyone's worried about me and Bryant. Do you
Thank you.
agree, Bryant?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, Brian, you're good.
Oh yeah, and live, laugh, love. Great job, y'all.
Fix it.
Thanks,
All
Bryant.
right then. So thank you very much, Bryant. Last person we have here. We were not able to get him earlier, but we have him here. Fifth placer, seventh member of our jury, Jeremy Carson. Who better to close the jury segment off than you, Jeremy? Yeah, you ready to go, my guy?
Probably any one of them.
I'll start the time once you start talking.
I didn't come prepared at all, and I apologize. Haven't seen anything before this either. Had to host my game, unfortunately. With that said, just tell me, you each get 2 minutes. Tell me why the other two players shouldn't win. I'll just go in order of people on my screen. Caleb, you go first.
Why they shouldn't win?
Why they shouldn't win.
They shouldn't win. Okay. I don't think that they have a story of resilience as strongly as I do. There were people they played in positions of safety a lot of the time with stuff that they knew. I fell flat on my ass and still got up. I don't think Ryu should win because that idol shenanigans was crazy. I did know that he was going to keep it. I was the one that was telling him to keep it, and he continued to keep on to the idol, even though it was deterring him in his game. And I don't think that Lily should win because we play this game to make moves and to cut heads off. And I shot big. She didn't shoot me. She should have shot big. I do think that I am her biggest threat. And sitting here, I think is a detriment to her. Ryu and I should not be here. But I don't think they should win because I played a much stronger game from the shadows.
Alrighty, Lily.
All right. I think that the other two shouldn't win for a lot of reasons that have kind of come to light already. I think the first is that they really heavily depended on their pre-merge game, and they let their pre-merge connections and their pre-merge games dictate what they did after the merge and kind of decide who they were going to shoot. And then they reacted to what was happening throughout the game. And so I think that collectively is one reason why either of them shouldn't win. Just to add to it, I think that Ryu is using his holding on to his idol with white knuckles as a strength when it really is a weakness. If he had gotten rid of that idol at the merge, at the quick round, I think he would have had a lot more opportunities of working with people, of people trusting him. But there was a lot of us, even I, like Caleb said he was telling him not to use his idol. So was I. That's why I told him in Final 7 not to use his idol. I said, don't you, or final 7. I was like, don't use your idol. I have an idol. If I need to use it, I'll use it. And so he wasn't making these decisions by himself. And then what Caleb said, I think probably could be flipped back on him. I think that Caleb played a very reactive game. I think that he tried to hide in the shadows a little bit too much to where it's hard to see where those moves that he made had. And I think that it's not clear yet what his specific moves are that he pushed within the group that he worked in. Yes, he was in a group that made moves, but which ones did he push specifically? Which ones is he willing to own up with Ryu sitting here at Final Tribal able to combat it?
Ryu.
Yeah, I think that neither of them should be the winners because, unfortunately, in both of their cases, oh wow, that's a lot of time. I don't think I'll talk for 3.5 minutes, but I do have respect for them. But I do think that unfortunately for Caleb's game, I think a lot of the time he was looking for guidance from me and I think a little bit of Leah, especially pre-merge. I think that he was constantly on the edge of which way should I go, and every time I pushed for a certain way he should go, he fell that way. And when he didn't fall that way in the last round, unfortunately, it might have been his undoing. Lily, I think, really showed that she was willing to um, have bullets taken at her and at her allies, and then unfortunately she would come back to me every time and allow me to have a lot of the control in the game. And so I think that for Lily, although wonderful human, I think that if she were able to take advantage a bit more and be a little bit more of a power player, she would have earned the win. But unfortunately, she never was a huge power player. And so I do not think she deserves a win because of that.
How much time do I got, Jacob? That's too much time. I don't know. Do I got more?
I think you could just give it up if you want.
I
Well,
don't know.
can we
I might as well have
respond?
fun.
Can we
Can we
respond to the
respond?
stupid stuff?
Let me ask my two stupid questions and then you can respond to each other. Caleb, put a percentage on the chance that I would have voted you out at 4 had Bryant left at 5.
I think a strong 75. I don't know if you told me any true information from merge on we had a call that you said that you thought that the Tommy's mommies were off. And so I took that as no holds barred. The position you were in, I do think maybe you would have kept me, but I had it in my mind that you were going to target me at 4, so 75.
And Ryu, did you consider targeting Caleb at 6? I'll flat out say I think that's the only way you could have won the game.
Yeah, I did think about it. It was an option. But the issue was that I thought Mikey would then take a shot at me at 5 and take me out. And I didn't want to risk that. I knew that Caleb was for sure gonna vote every single way that I wanted to. So
He didn't though.
I know, I'm aware.
Go ahead, just yell at each other whatever you were gonna do with the last 50 seconds.
I already forgot what I was gonna yell at. It was probably Ryu saying I ran to him every time, which is not the case. I think that his poor perception in allowing us to be able to combat what he's saying in Final Tribal is there in itself, showing that he has bad reads on how people were maneuvering in the game.
I was never on the receiving end of strategy. I was the person that pushed the Sanam vote. I was the person that pushed the J vote. I was the person that pushed us to work with Lily and Bryant. He did not.
Cool. Good luck.
Thank you very much, Jeremy. All right. We've gotten through all of our jurors. Everybody has spoken their piece. But now it is back to the finalists. As we have discussed earlier, the inverse of order from the opening statements will be the order for the closing statements. Caleb, you're up. Are you ready? Timer starts once you start talking.
I want to start this by saying thank you to everybody. I have a difficult time in real life connecting with people when I'm surrounded by people who don't like the things that I like. And when I play these games, we have the same interests. And this has been a very nice separation from life. Coming into this game, I was very, very worried about being too outgoing. And I do think that I might have dulled myself too much. The end game was a difficult one because I was set up in such a position where people started playing around me. Yeah, I did have a strong early game, I had a strong mid game, and I had a strong end game. The people who should have taken me out did not take me out. The situation where I won most likely to win, I think, was a situation where I won ugliest girl at the ball. Like, it was a target put on my back by the people that I was supposedly working with. And I'm still sitting at the end, even though that target was put on my back. I have done nothing but what I think is best for me. I would have kept Jay in the game if I thought it was going to work out for me. I have never once wavered from what I need to do. I did have a Google Excel sheet of every week of what was going to happen. A lot of people's reads were right, but I had a dream final 3 of me, Ryu, and Edward, and it did not turn out like that. But we're sitting here now, and I am the reason that Ryu is here. I have kept him safe this entire time. And though Lily and I played different games, I do feel like we played with guns drawn at each other this entire time. Not a single call do I think we told each other 100% of the story. But what I did in this game was use the information that I had best for me. And when people did play around me and play against me, I not only was resilient in that moment, I took that and I ran. I publicly deflated to play possum because I was so scared of my public perception being so strong, already having relationships, and then letting the people around me take shots at people that I would never vote out, like an Aaliyah and an Edward. That got me to the final 6, final 5, and final 4. I did have to go to fire, but I did have a loyal person that was not going to vote for me. So I had a chance at fire. I am sitting here because I played a very strong game. It might be in the shadows, but I worked every single round to put myself in the best position. I, on purpose, chose people to be my target, to be my public target, so that people knew where I was pointed. My trust rankings every week went by who I felt would not vote me out. And I worked off of that, and I am here because I tried my best. I worked the hardest, and I humbly again ask for your vote. I believe that I represent the season as a whole. This final three is very strong, and I think that I played the strongest game. I'm not going to take up the whole 5 minutes, but when you guys go to vote, I would appreciate it. Thank you.
See it all your time, Caleb? Just to confirm.
I concede my time.
Appreciate you. Lily, you ready?
Yes.
Time starts once you start talking.
All right. I've been taking notes, and I think there's a couple things that I would like to spend my last 5 minutes doing. The first is the Sanam vote. I think something that I haven't touched on because I didn't think it was important is that there was a group of Sanam, me, and Sergio that had figured out a way, was trying to figure out a way to make it so that Sanam stayed. It wasn't until I told Sergio, there's nothing we can do, they want Sanam, that he then changed his vote to Sanam, and I tried to point the gun at Sergio. It's not to say that my move, I got Sergio out. That's not it. But I think both of these individuals are taking credit for a Sanam vote when they were unaware that this whole separate thing was happening. So I did tell Caleb that we were working, but there was a strong effort on both Sergio and me to keep Sanam without telling Sanam all this was happening. So if she did have her idol, she wouldn't use it, and then it would be flushed. Another thing that I think is important to note is that nobody on this final tribal council, except for me, knew about Jay's idol. So although Caleb and Rhea are going to say, we flushed your idol, we got you out with it, they didn't know that you had it. So therefore, they can't take credit of flushing out your idol and getting you if they were not told that you had it. Caleb might have had a gut, Ryu had no idea. So let's not give credit if credit isn't due. The next thing that I want to point out, I actually wrote this last minute because of what Caleb was saying. This is just my like mentality on the game. It really, I don't know, is trust rankings. I have only ever played one other game, and trust rankings weren't a thing. And I don't think that they accurately tell someone's game. Like when I voted for Edward to go, Edward was second on my trust rankings. I think being a good player in this game, or being a power player, which I was just called, I wasn't, is knowing when the correct time is to vote someone that might trust you and you might trust them. There are times when those people have to go to like catapult yourself forward. And Caleb proved it in his last notes that getting Edward allowed me to be here, because had I not shot at Edward when he went, Caleb might have been able to get his perfect final tribal, which would have been Edward, Ryu, and Caleb. My last note is that I was never afraid to work with targets. For example, I wanted to work with Morks. I wanted to work with Sanam for similar reasons of why Caleb worked with Ryu. Not only meat shields, but I think, thank you, Jacob, that those people really know the game, and I want to play with people that know the game. And Caleb had a great read in that we were never 100% with each other. And I think that's because I could read that Caleb was really good at this game. People have tells in this game, and Ryu's is he talks a lot. You know what I mean? He says, oh, I heard this. Oh, I don't care about this. This is what Ryu does. He says he doesn't care about something because he's hiding it on his side. Caleb's tell is that he is typing questions to you and you know that he's on a call with someone else. So just having those little things and knowing how these people work makes it so much easier to understand kind of what's going on. I don't know who Caleb's talking to. I don't know who Ryu's talking to, but I know that something's happening in the background that I'm not involved with. And so I think that just catching on those things are really important. And as Caleb said, we do have similar games. I think we both are well-rounded, but I think on top of what Caleb had, I had an idol, didn't have to use it. I had an advantage, didn't really have to use it, used it because I couldn't trust Jeremy as far as I could throw him because we never connected. And I almost won 3 additional individual immunities, got second place. That was put a big target on Bryant, but for some reason, me being close multiple times didn't matter. And so there's something to be said about the social game of maneuvering these things that should have heightened my threat that just didn't take it. And so I hope that you guys can take me as base value, acknowledge the things that I've done in this game, and I can acknowledge that you guys might not think that we're a strong three, but that's because you're not in it, right? If you're on the jury, you think you would have been a stronger person at the end. And I think that you should think that, and everyone should think that they should have been at the end. They would have been a stronger player. But we're all sitting here today trying to show that we also are strong players. So I hope you vote for who you think had the best game. And yeah, now I'm just rambling. But yes, thank you for your time. I know it's been long. I know I ramble. Thank you, everyone, for a great game.
All right, Ryu, ready to close us off?
I'll close us off. Let's do it. All right. Thank you. So I'm going to talk a little bit from the heart right now. I have to say, first and foremost, like I've said this multiple times. I think this cast is one of the strongest casts I've ever been a part of. Everyone here is, like Lily said, deserving to be in the final three, but we are here, and so we have to fight for what we can. And to be honest, I do think that my game, although may have upset some people, has been exceptionally strong, has been very, very public to a lot of people throughout this entire game. And I think that's got to go. It's gotta be recognized by everyone that I have always been someone that's willing to take a shot. I'm always willing to put myself out there in order to make something happen. And I think that shows throughout the entire game. I was willing to use my advantage early on to give myself the advantage going into merge multiple times. I think in merge I did have that idol, and I was able to kind of use it in order to make it so that I was at least somewhat dangerous to have around. And maybe Caleb and Lily say they used me as a shield, but the thing about a shield is you have to discard that before you get to the end. And they weren't able to do that. They couldn't take me out. I was a shield. I was a big name throughout this entire game. And it it's honestly crazy that I'm here after having my name slung out there so many times. It's impressive at this point. I was always the one attacking. I was never on the defense. I was anytime I've in my confessionals, I always say I am someone that uses offense as a defense, and I did that throughout. Anytime I was on the back foot, I would then pivot to people that I could trust and make a move of some kind. I was always trying to find the angles that would best suit me to get myself to the end. I continued to play aggressive. I made my target so big it became invisible to a lot of people, and I was able to bring people that, to be honest, I was able to put myself in a position where people were, thank you, Jacob, people were scared, scared to take a shot at me. And so because of that, I think that I deserve to win this game. I think that I was able to use my advantages effectively every time I had them. I won the final immunity when I needed to. I pushed myself beyond. My quads were killing me at the end. And I've always been someone that's wanted to make good TV. I try my best to do that and keep that entertainment value. I've always keeping it above, always keeping it game level. And so I hope that's recognized. And I think that I deserve the win because of just how passionate I've been about this. I've cared about this game immensely every single day, and I've had real conversations with people, but I was always able to maneuver that to put me in a power position, and so I really hope that's recognized by the jury. Thank you very much, and good luck to both of my competitors as well.
You can take the rest of your time. Appreciate it. All right. The statements have been shared. The jurors have interrogated all three of you on each of your games. And it's finally almost over. We finally got here. Before I say anything, congratulations on all three of you for making it to the end. It guys was a valiant fight that was fought across all three of you. But now I'm revoking you guys of your power. The power now turns over to the jurors. please go to your private chats, cast your vote for either Caleb, Lily, or Ryu to win this game. Whoever sees most of the votes will be the winner. Spellbound Survivor Dungeon Crawler. We'll be sending the Zoom link not just to any other jurors, well, I guess it's only one juror not in attendance, to join here, but also some of your old pals from the pre-jury are going to join. We'll do awards. We have things to say afterwards, and I could finally talk about my feelings about the season. But shout outs are still encouraged. We're still being live streamed. Best of luck to the final three.
Shout out to Andrew Denson, who told me not to start my speech with apologies. The only person in my prod chat.
Shout out to Grandma. Love you.
Shout out to the jury. Woo!
I'm being asked to start my video, so I guess I'll do that. I was like, are you sure? Me? Second juror? Okay. I feel like I've talked enough, but
shout out to Allie from 5th grade, who said that I would never play Survivor. Suck
And
it.
look at you now.
I bet she got cut from everything she's ever done.
Shout out to this wine. She really ate. She really ate.
Shout out to my brother in arms, Mr. Jack Daniel.
Oh, I literally got 2 beers and I slammed them before I started this tribal.
I have
That's
no
shocking.
alcohol. I have no alcohol near me, but shout out to these posters I put up on the wall today. It was long overdue. Long overdue. No more boring blue wall.
Shout out to the delusion. May she be in the room with us.
Always.
Quite a bit of it.
Oh, and there's been some of it here tonight.
Oh,
just
yeah.
a little, just a tad,
Oh.
just a tad.
Oh no, it's been
I wasn't referencing new delusion. This has been with us.
shout out to this blunt I'm gonna take down after this call.
Oh, relax, fuck Jay. My boss is outside waiting for me, sister.
Girl. Honestly, you onto something. You onto something.
You know what? Actually, we're gonna take this outside.
No, actually, we about to do that when everybody gets back here. We're about to take a little trip to the car. Hello.
I want a blunt so bad.
Shout out McKenna. Live, laugh, love. You know.
Jay, if we were on a tribe at all together, we would have seshed so hard, bro, for real.
Yeah. Nah, I always have a good sesh with my
And what about me, Rio? Nothing?
Fuck, Mikey, absolutely.
and Mikey, nothing, boo.
What about me, Ryu?
Not even
Aaliyah, we did sesh together.
Oh, yeah, I must have forgot about
Many times.
Like multiple times.
We did all the time.
No.
The cloud in your mind, Aaliyah.
Yeah, it's the drugs. It wasn't like an intentional forgetting or anything. I'm a very emotional player, Ryu. I've told you this. I DMP people who turn on me in games. I DMP somebody who's in my friend group. Like, literally. Out of the 7 people in our friend group, there is 1 person on my DMP because they decided to be a bitch to me in a game once. Literally.
That's
so just remember that anytime I ever see you again in a game, Ryu.
Oh,
Don't
it sounds
expect
like
to
you-
stay in too long.
Girl.
Oh, damn.
Because I don't put them to DMP immediately. I wait because it's fun to play with them first.
Okay. Well, it's fine
Ask
if you
V. Ask V. V has been voted out 3 times in a game by me because he wanted to get me out once.
No, I don't hold anything against anyone. It's
I
all
do.
good.
I sure
It's all
do.
good. It's all good.
I do.
Oh.
Literally. Sorry, I'm broken, I guess, in that way. Should I get more wine?
Yeah.
Go for it.
It's 11
We have to
o'clock.
lose at this point.
It's only 8:01 for me.
Well, I have to be at work at 4:30.
Oh, maybe don't do that then.
I'm gonna do it.
Do it.
Like, Mr. Tennis got off of me, so. Oh my gosh, how long does it take to count to like 8, 7, 9? I don't know.
Well, Jacob did just reappear, so
Oh, hey, what's up, babe? Sorry, I'll digress.
He's got a triple check, quadruple check, like underline it, highlight it, like all that shit.
Everyone, I have the votes. Before I read those votes, though, thank you all so much for playing Spellbound Survivor Dungeon Crawler. It has been, I don't even know, I could think of but an adjective that accurately describes the experience that you guys put me through. It's been crazy, it's been chaotic, it's been manic, it's been hijinks ensuing nonstop, high level gameplay, and everyone bringing something to the table. Never have I saw a jury phase filled to the brim with stars, like a stacked cast that I saw everyone somehow, some route that they could potentially go on to win the game. I was very thoroughly impressed, very thoroughly surprised. And it comes down to this: Caleb, Lily, Ryu. You three have done what the 15 hopefuls this season and 68 people across Spellbound's long pantheon have been unable to do and make it here to the end. And each of you taking different paths to get here. Caleb, forging multiple strong one-on-one bonds with people on your OG tribes. You were able to maintain such strong relationships that even when they send trust rankings, they're still prefaced by saying, oh no, but Caleb is still number one. Working under the shadows, despite having your vote sapped for multiple rounds without any say, you were still able to crucially pivot yourself and position yourself to be here in the final three chairs. Whatever you had to do, even if you made a villainous move that stabbed someone in the back, you unapologetically would say, and I will do it again. Caleb, are you the winner of Spellbound Survivor Dungeon Crawler? Lily, only having played one game beforehand and being recruited last second to play this season, you came out swinging, building multiple very strong relationships and genuine, raw, and authentic ones as well, where lots of people entrusted you as their closest confidant in this game, being undermined and underestimated throughout the duration of this game. You have turned the narrative of the fairy hero into the Viper Queen. And now you stand here being the only person who, if we don't count nullified votes, to have never received or had a vote counted towards you this entire game. Lily, are you the winner of Spellbound Survivor Dungeon Crawler? Ryu, flaunting the plumb bob, flaunting the idol, taking greed. No one in this series has ever had more fun and played more bombastically and showboaty than you have during this game. You did not care about how large your target was because you came in here not just for the game, not just for the crown, not just for the title, but for the experience. You hopped on calls with people for hours on end, even when you did not need to. And no matter what, you would go in your chat, send a YouTube video outlining exactly what you need to do from point A to point Z. Ryu, are you the winner of Spellbound Survivor Dungeon Crawler? I have the votes. You want to see your name written down here for the final time. I'm gonna read them. First vote, Ryu. One vote, Ryu. Lily. That's one vote, Ryu. One vote, Lily. Lily. That's two votes, Lily. One vote, Ryu. Lily. That's three votes, Lily. One vote, Ryu. Lily. That is four votes, Lily. One vote, Ryu. The winner of Spellbound Survivor Dungeon Crawler. Lily. Lily, that is five. And tonight, that is enough. By a vote of 7-1-0, you are the sole survivor. Lily, if you have any final words, by all means, please let us know. You're our winner.
Wow, I'm trying not to cry. That really shows how like much this game has overtaken my life. I really appreciate everyone's vote. I really truly like just know this is only my second game for the reason, and that if any of you guys were ever in Maryland, you have like a place to stay with me. I like adore each and every one of you. I want to keep in contact with you. But in addition, like it's just such a beautiful end to my game because I felt like a lot of people consistently undermined me. And so to feel that that was just gameplay is like great on a personal level as well. And so thank you. You guys were all amazing competitors. I did not think it would be like this. So thank you so much.
And let me just say, Ryu and Caleb, if you guys have final words, please pat yourselves on the back. It's no easy feat to make it all the way to this point. You both played impeccable games as well. So please, if you have any final words about me, you could say what you want.
Caleb, you want to go first?
No, I didn't like any of these people.
No, I had a lot of fun. It was a lot, to be honest. I'm probably not going to play one of these again for a long time, but no hard feelings. This was honestly so much fun. Um, yeah, thank you. And congratulations, Lily. You honestly really earned it. You really did.
Congrats, Lily. Good job.
You really did.
Thank you.
But what we're about to do is we're going to turn off the live stream and we're going to have a reunion take place. We have awards to give out, we have props to give, we have flowers to share, and I hope you guys want to stay on. If it's not mandatory to attend, you are no longer contractually obligated to deal with me anymore. So if you want to hop off the Zoom, by all means, you can.
Speak for yourself.
Ignore Xander. So hope you guys can tag along. But for everybody who's tuning in, thank you so much for tuning into Spellbound Survivor Dungeon Crawler. We'll see you on season 6. And what will be in store for these people? It'll be bigger, badder, and more star-studded than